Wow! Australian Grand Prix, take 2. Hairpin time!
Oh my! To test F1 2016 early, it's just... I don't want to turn across him just in case he's there. Ferrari soaring past us. No! No! This is not where I want to go!
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've played the F1 game, you've probably heard of Tiametmarduk. So just who is Tiametmarduk and how did he grow to be known as one of the biggest F1 YouTubers on the platform? So on this episode of YouTube Theory, that's what we're going to be finding out. Tiametmarduk, also known as Benjamin Daly, is a YouTuber who started off his career heavily inspired by his father's passion for gaming and motorsports. Since embarking on his YouTube journey, he has accumulated over 712,000 subscribers. With his current growth rate, he is acquiring over 500 subscribers every day, and this number always seems to grow whenever there is an F1 game release. Following this graph, it does become evident that his major steps in growth are around June and July, where the games are typically released by Codemasters as well. So how did Ben start out? Well, he started out making YouTube videos as far back as on the F1 2010 game. Ben would mostly post F1 game setups surrounding his interest for league racing before finding his passion to create career mode content on F1 2012. I'll play this clip of his first ever F1 career mode episode for you guys to enjoy.
And we're away in Melbourne! Got off to a decent start, got past Kovalainen there. Karthikeyan is next, I should be past him into turn 1. Everyone brakes early.
As you can see, Ben, lacking a bit of confidence as it was his first ever commentary video on career mode, didn't take long to improve his commentary at all, building up confidence as early as his 10th episode at Hockenheim.
Alright, so here we are on the German Grand Prix, just waiting for the 5 red lights to go out, and we will get underway with career mode for the first time in 2 months. Let's go, straight up in a fast.
One thing to note about F1 gaming as early as F1 2012 was that you needed an Elgato in order to record gameplay footage before uploading it to YouTube. This would see a barrier of entry for the content creators this early on the F1 scene. Not everybody could afford an Elgato back then, and competition has since risen with the accessibility to stream and record your favorite game without the need to invest a lot of money. Nevertheless, Ben invested his time, effort, and expenses to improve the quality of his setup and his videos. Ben would also create league racing videos as he participated in Apex Online Racing, which was known as Apex Racing League or ARL back then. Furthermore, his participation in these racing leagues would then improve his driving ability, and this would then make it more enjoyable for the audience to watch. The early growth of Tiametmarduk's channel can be attributed to the consistent uploads of the F1 2012 game throughout its life cycle. During this time, he would hit 4,000 and then 5,000 subscribers. But things were about to kick off. If we take a look at the Google Trends graph, you can clearly see any meaningful growth began in 2013. You can notice his content stepped up in 2013 when he had a new game to record, all the confidence that he had built up from previous career mode episodes, and most importantly, still being one of the few pioneers to create F1 career mode content this early on. Ben showcases early on his setup and how minimal his equipment is, which honestly really demonstrates how far he's had to work to get to where he is currently. Continuing to upload F1 2013 content, he eventually reaches 20,000 subscribers.
Especially since F1 2013 has come out, the channel has pretty much exploded since.
And along the way, he would start upgrading his setup with a better steering wheel from Fanatec, which could only improve his driving even more. With the early explosion of popularity on his channel, a brilliant meme was born. Tiametmarduk UK. This is definitely not foreshadowing anything in the future to come. This would see another highlight of Ben's channel as he would overtake Mark Webber on an alternate strategy across the line in a career mode episode. A part of the lifeblood of Tiametmarduk's channel is the collaborations he's been involved with his time on YouTube. During the 2013 game life cycle, we would see a series appear on Tiametmarduk's channel of Return to Glory.
Yes, Hamilton's giving me the lead, thank God.
Yes, I'm in second.
Yes, this is what we need, lads.
This would involve collaborating with a small YouTuber at the time known as Arava. In this series, they would race as teammates and try to win the championship together. Ben would also expand his network by collaborating with a small YouTuber, you may have heard of him, known as XMattyG. This can be seen as early on as the F1 2010 game on Tiametmarduk's channel. And if you add a couple of more YouTubers to the mix... we can cross one of those out. Yeah, if we add another 2 YouTubers to the mix by the likes of Into the Barrier and Noble2909, we get what is known as the F1 YouTuber Championship.
What's going on, guys? It's the F1 YouTube Championship with every F1 YouTuber.
Later on, these group of friends would then go on to test the F1 2016 game early, and keep in mind this was the first introduction of a beta test in any sort of form with the Codemasters F1 games. While these group of friends went to England to test the game, we also saw the introduction of Alex Gillen, another F1 YouTuber who would become a prominent name later on the Tiametmarduk channel. These YouTubers and their collaborations would help support each other's channels, and many of them would use this to elevate their career. Ben's channel growth was definitely spiking at this point in time, and he was definitely getting his name out as he would continue to build up his setup, his PC and other equipment to make his videos better. Coming from humble beginnings, Ben was seeing this as an opportunity now to make this a life-changing career choice. He would also go on to continue to update his subscribers with life updates, such as getting into a relationship with his girlfriend. This, along with university and studies, would then slow down his uploads temporarily before he would continue to march on with his consistent YouTube growth.
They're necessary, but given what's been happening these last few weeks, I think I definitely deserve to give you guys a bit of an explanation.
And surely enough, Tiametmarduk hit the 100,000 subscriber milestone, receiving the 100,000 subscriber plaque in December of 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that part of the video where we get to discuss Benjamin Daly's car collection, and there is a fair few impressive cars in here. Starting off, while living in Australia, he did post a video about a Commodore SV6. This car in this year model would typically have around 282 horsepower, but then Ben would go on to purchase a Nissan 370Z. This would mean he upgraded the horsepower under the hood to 332 horsepower roughly, and also embraced the JDM enthusiast inside of him. So I do have to ask, when is the R35 coming, Ben? From this point on, it was clear to see that YouTube was starting to give him some good returns in revenue, because he was able to step up his car selection to what is some very impressive cars in my opinion. Before we talk about Ben's next car, we have to discuss how he actually ended up moving to the UK. That is correct, he actually ended up becoming the Tiametmarduk UK meme.
Yeah, I'm moving to the UK, to England, in 2019, so very, very soon. I'll get into all the details, all the facts, and just kind of explain everything, because this has been, for me, a long time coming. I've been planning this for...
And one last thing before I talk about his next car that he purchased in the UK. Ben came from very humble beginnings. Nothing was given to him when he did decide to start out on YouTube, and this allows his audience to live vicariously through him when he makes these exciting purchases. Not long after living in the UK, Ben manages to buy an impressive Audi R8, once again increasing his horsepower to 420. Not as commonly known, Ben decides to purchase a Mercedes A35 AMG, which has around about 302 horsepower, and if that's his daily car, that's a pretty wicked daily car. Ben would then sign to become a McLaren ambassador for their esports team, and then purchase a McLaren 600 LT Spider with a whopping 592 horsepower. I honestly don't know how you can even use that legally, but more importantly, it spits flames. And honestly, you can't help but feel excited for him. Coming from driving with the steering wheel in his lap and editing videos on a laptop, he has somehow managed to pull off purchasing a McLaren. This showcases Ben's discipline and motivation to upload videos on a consistent basis, and honestly being rewarded for it. In the beginning, his father would question his decision to do YouTube as he was studying for several years within university and gave up his degree to pursue his YouTube dreams. This would be scary, having no safety net to fall back on. Looking back upon it, I think we can all agree that he made the correct decision.
I questioned where this YouTubing would be going. I thought that he would be able to, I suggested to Ben that he maybe think of doing this in the background, the YouTubing, and continue with his studies, because he'd already completed 6 years, and it would seem like he would have wasted those 6 years for nothing if he didn't finish the degrees.
Ben would continue marching on with his YouTube growth by uploading on a consistent basis now, as this was his full-time job. He would then sign with Veloce, which gave him the opportunity to race with Formula 1 drivers during the COVID lockdown and further explode his growth on YouTube. And it was fair to say that at this point in time, Ben and Arava were dominating the F1 scene when it came to creating career mode content. Ben would then race real F1 drivers such as Leclerc, Lando Norris, and Nicholas Latifi, just to name a few. Not only that, but Ben would also expand his network to new content creators such as myself as well. In order to keep a variety of content on Ben's channel, he decided that he would upload videos from other games such as MotoGP and Project Cars. This would give the audience a variety of content and prevent his career mode videos going stale. While rising to the top of F1 YouTube, Ben was also invited to events such as F1 Esports to then help support its popularity by using his exposure. And as of most recent, he participated in the Formula E Esports series. He would also go on to then at one point drop his own merchandise. After all this exposure and growth on his YouTube channel, Ben still remains the same person he was when he started out on YouTube. And that brings us to how did Tiametmarduk grow on YouTube as much as he did? Well, this can be broken down into 7 parts. He was of course one of the first pioneering F1 gamers on YouTube to begin with. But after saying that, we must talk about the next point, which is improving the quality of his content and the commentary and his performance in driving. All these things tie into how he was still able to compete at the top of F1 YouTube when it became more accessible to more content creators. The third part of this was previously mentioned. He still remains the same genuine self he was as he started his YouTube journey. He knows how to make fun with making YouTube videos. He's not serious all the time, and his audience appreciates him for that. The fourth part of this goes hand in hand with his genuine character, and that is his ability to have a sense of humor and banter with other people and his audience. His collaborations would then help expand his network and create better content, as it was just a super funny dynamic, especially throughout the YouTuber Championship, and pretty much all of them from that point on would go on to do better things with their future. His driving ability is that of the top 1 or 2% of all players, so he's by all means not a slow driver and not a frustrating driver to watch play the game. A lot of other large YouTubers who are not from the Formula 1 niche who play the F1 game as of recent don't have the background from starting their channel playing the F1 game to be as experienced or as quick as Ben, for example, which makes Tiametmarduk a lot harder to replace. To wrap this up, his consistency of uploads would then go on to be a driving force of his success on Formula 1 YouTube, which would then help him to grow to one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform. Fellow friend, content creator, and also rival on the platform, Arava is hot on his heels, but I'm sure they don't really care who's the top position, as they are both extremely successful, and you should go subscribe to both of them as well. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It means the world to me, but most importantly, let me know who you would like me to make a video on next. I like telling these stories, and I'll let you guys decide who I should talk about on the next video. But until then, I'll see you all in a brand new one.